Over 20 plus years ago in the early 2000s, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish had a star quarterback who went by the name of Brady Quinn. Just how good was he, you may ask? Great question, my friend, I'll let you answer it. He finished top 5 in the Heisman voting. Oh, you thought I meant once? No. He did it twice. In 2 years combined, he had 69 passing touchdowns to only 14 interceptions. Outstanding ratio. He passed for over 11,000 yards, and many people out there thought he was going to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. Unfortunately for Brady Quinn, that didn't happen. After he left Notre Dame, it was a downhill slope. It's not just like 1 or 2 bad things happened. No. A ton of bad things happened to him after he left college. In just a few short years, he went from a star quarterback at Notre Dame to essentially a nobody. There's many questions people have been asked about this guy even till this day. But however, it all circles back to the one. And I mean the one big question we're going to try to get to the bottom of in today's video. What really happened to Brady Quinn? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you are having a great day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Dropping by real quick to say major shout out to The Prophecy and a couple others for requesting this video. I'm just going to share out this comment, but there is about 4 to 5 comments of people saying, yo, you got to make a video on Brady Quinn. I'm going to assume the reason for that is because on the previous video we did Jimmy Clausen. If you don't know his backstory, feel free to check out the video, but he went to Notre Dame as well. So yeah, I guess we're covering Notre Dame players for the time being. Doesn't bother me, as y'all know, I'm a fan of the people and I'm going to get the people what they want. If you have any recommendations for videos like this in the future, feel free to leave a comment down below, and who knows, I might make that video. That is enough jibber jabber. Without further ado, let's get into it. You already know, to get into Mr. Brady Quinn's story, we gotta throw it all the way back to where things started. Brady Quinn would play his high school football in Dublin, Ohio. He was a stud in high school, 4-star recruit. You know how the glory days go. We're not going to speak on that too much. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Ultimately, he would decide to commit and sign with Notre Dame. In his first season with the Fighting Irish, they weren't too good. And matter of fact, they didn't even make a bowl game. They went 5-7. I think it is more than fair to say that Quinn didn't have his best stuff in his first year there. In 12 games played, he only completed 47%. Wow. That is one of the lowest completion percentages I've ever seen for an entire season. Had 1,800 passing yards with 9 touchdowns to 15. A whopping 15 interceptions. Terrible. But, and I have an astronomically big but, let me remind you, he was a freshman. He had to take his lumps. It is worth throwing in there. Makes your job a little bit harder as a quarterback when your team from top to bottom isn't that good. Heading into his second season, 2004, he was expected to produce a little bit more. And he did just that. Notre Dame got off to a semi-decent start. Went 6-3, but lost their remaining 3 games, so they finished 6-6, 500. But here's the good news. Quinn increased all of his numbers, and most importantly, decreased his interceptions. Bumped up his completion percentage to 54, had 2,500 passing yards with 17 touchdowns to only 10 INTs. Improvement. You'll take it. Heading into 2005, though, and I really want to harp on this season, it was the put up or shut up year. There were no more excuses. You couldn't say, oh, well, he's just a freshman. Oh, well, he's only been here a couple years. This would be his 3rd year as a quarterback. It's time to go out there, make some plays, and put up good numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you want to talk about turning a corner? That's what he did. Quinn and Notre Dame were a couple plays away from finishing the regular season undefeated. May I remind you, the previous couple of years, they struggled to even make a bowl game. But this is one of the more forgotten years for Notre Dame just due to it really didn't amount to a hill of beans because you didn't win anything. But why these videos are so cool to make is when you look back on it, you can actually realize, oh, wait a minute. They were that close to being a really good team and a team we'd be talking about even to this day. As you can see right here, they went 9-2 in the regular season, started out with 2 top 25 wins, beat 23-ranked Pittsburgh and 3-ranked Michigan. After that, they lost in overtime to Michigan State and lost to number 1 USC by 3 points. And that's what I'm talking about. Few plays away from winning those games, going 11-0, and who knows what would happen. Rather less, still a good year for Notre Dame, but more importantly, an outstanding year for Brady Quinn. I'll let the numbers do the talking. Bumped up his completion percentage, this is also one of the best I've ever seen from a year-to-year basis, to over 10%. Completed 65% of his passes. Guys, in the previous year, he only completed 54%. Jumped up his passing yards to nearly 4,000. He had 3,900, we'll round down. Had 32 touchdowns. That's more than 15 from the prior season. And guess what? 7 interceptions. Hold on. Clap it up. Doesn't get any better than that. And let me throw this in there. Holy crap, I almost forgot about this. These are 2005 numbers. This is a great season for 2025. But back then, oh my goodness, we got to take into account there's inflation. This is more so of like having 5,000 passing yards and 45 touchdowns In today's age, 4,000 passing yards in one season in the early 2000s, yeah, that's slinging the rock. By this point in time in his career and story, everybody's like, okay, finally, this is the Brady Quinn everyone was hyping up coming out of high school. He would return for his senior year in 2006, and it was a carbon copy paste of his junior year. Notre Dame finished the entire season going 10-3, but their 3 losses, not bad at all. Lost to number 3 USC, number 4 LSU in the bowl game, and number 11 Michigan. Brady Quinn would prove that previous year was not a fluke. He completed 62% of his passes, had 3,400 passing yards, increased his touchdowns to 37, interceptions stayed the same. Only had 7 there. I'm not going to sit up here for the next 3 to 4 or 5 minutes and hype up these numbers. You should understand how impressive these are. If I had to use one word to describe Brady Quinn in 2005 and 2006, it would be baller. He was balling, and the best part about his game is he limited the turnovers, therefore he didn't beat himself. Oh yeah, I need to throw this in there before I forget. He won the Golden Arm Award, which goes to the best quarterback in the nation, and also the Maxwell Award, which goes to the best football player in the nation. With this being his 4th and final year at Notre Dame, he had no choice but to declare for the NFL draft, and that's what he did. And this is where things in our story get not just a little, but a lot of wishy-washy. He was widely regarded as one of the best overall, not quarterbacks, but one of the best overall players in the draft. He could have been the number 1 pick, but the consensus going around is, oh yeah, he's going top 10, top 15 for sure. But that didn't happen. He fell all the way down to a 22nd overall pick. And what's interesting about that is the team that selected him, the Cleveland Browns, they actually were thinking about taking him with the 3rd pick. It was just a weird situation. If you remember it, you remember. Even though he did fall in the draft, he was still a 1st-round pick and got a $20 million contract with over $7 million guaranteed. But here's the kicker with that. That $20 million contract deal, whatever you want to call it, it actually hurt him. Here's how. For those of you that don't know, he was actually in a holdout with the Browns, therefore, he wasn't even practicing with them. Why is this such a big deal, you may ask? Because this is what ruined his chances to win the starting job. For those of you who don't know, when you are holding out, you're not practicing with the team. Therefore, if you're not practicing, you just can't win the starting job. It's as simple as that. Here's what they had to say about Quinn's progress when it comes to the quarterback battle after signing this contract, and I quote, "He's pretty far behind. We have a lot of offense, and we're putting it in every day. It takes a while to get this down and get caught up on it. It is worth throwing in there, he also missed the 4-day rookie camp." Let's talk about everything that has transpired, because I know it was a lot. The good news is, he finally signed his $20 million contract with the Cleveland Browns. Clap it up. Love to see another man succeed. You got your $20 million doubloons. Congratulations. The bad news is, it cost you a legit shot at winning the starting job. Therefore, he didn't even play in 2007. When I say didn't play, I kind of exaggerated. I'm talking about meaningful action. He appeared in just one singular game and only threw 8 passes. Fast forward in time to the 2008 season, Derek Anderson was the starting quarterback, but the Browns were struggling. They started the season out 3-5, which meant it was time for a change. And this is when Brady Quinn would finally get his shot. He wound up starting 3 games for the Browns in 2008, but he broke his right index finger on his throwing hand, and he couldn't play the rest of the season. So yet again, another setback right when he was named the starting quarterback for the Browns, and he was actually doing okay, although they went 1-2 in that stretch. Breaks his finger, and now he's out for the remainder of that season. Fast forward in time into 2009, Brady Quinn would battle it out with Derek Anderson for that starting quarterback spot. Only 4 days before the Browns season opener, it was announced, more great news for Quinn, he'd be the starting quarterback. It wasn't a good season for him. He actually got benched at one point in time and then eventually would return as a starting quarterback. Brady Quinn wasn't playing atrocious, it just wasn't anything good. If I had to grade it, or I think a better way of saying it is, if I had to rate it, I'd say it was slightly below average. To go on top of that, the Browns weren't too good themselves. You look up, and as a starting quarterback, he's 2-7. If it wasn't already bad enough that he's 2-7 as a starting quarterback, more bad news would strike. Against the Kansas City Chiefs in a game in which the Browns won, Brady Quinn would suffer another injury. It was a foot injury, which caused this season to be shut down early. Yet again, he was placed on the injury reserve list. After this season, in March of 2010, he'd be traded to the Denver Broncos. He battled it out with Kyle Orton for the starting job, but ultimately, Kyle Orton would win the starting job, and Brady Quinn didn't even play a snap that year. Fast forward time into the next season, 2011, he didn't play a snap in that season either. So at this point in time, it's looking like his career's all but over. But he got another chance. He signed with the Chiefs in March of 2012, and everyone expected him to just be a backup, nothing more, nothing less. But due to Matt Castle getting injured, he didn't just play, he started 8 games that year for the Chiefs. Whew, man, if you're a Chiefs fan watching this video, just be thankful for what you have now. Reason I say that is because Brady Quinn went 1-7 as your starting quarterback, completed 57% of his passes, had 1,100 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Yeah. Not very good. The Chiefs were like, yeah, we're good, bro. You can go elsewhere. So in April of 2013, he signed with the Seattle Seahawks. He got released shortly after, and in September of 2013, he signed with the New York Jets, but got released only 5 days after they signed him. After that, in October of 2013, he would sign with the Rams. However, another unfortunate injury happened. He ruptured 2 discs in his back when he was working out. He was placed on the injury reserve list, and he had to get surgery, so that was the end of that stint. After this, he decided to be a sports commentator, but then out of nowhere, he signed with the Miami Dolphins in August of 2014. Take a listen to this. He was working for Fox at the time, but in his contract, he had a clause that allowed him to leave at any time to resume playing in the NFL, which is all fine and dandy. But when he joined the Dolphins, he actually joined them on August 11th, the exact date. Only a few days after he joined them, they released him. Or I said a few days, but he joined, to be exact, like I said, August 11th. They released him August 26th. I just want y'all to think about how awkward that must have been. He's working as a commentator for Fox. He gets a call from his agent. His agent tells him, hey, Miami's interested. So he calls his boss at Fox and is like, hey, I'm going to try out football again. See ya. I'm going to go pursue my dreams. And only, about roughly 2 weeks later, he's calling his boss going, yeah, it really didn't work out, so, can I have my job back? That must have been one awkward phone call in exchange. Anyways, getting back on track here, he will continue to pursue his career as an analyst. And I know that seems like a boring ending to his story, but that's it. And if I keep things short and simple and sweet, that's what I strive to do. Even to this day, he's still an analyst. That is his career. That's what he's pursuing. To Brady Quinn, I'm wishing best of luck, brother, and I hope you continue to see a lot of success. Let's take a look at this Reddit post I found about him. It fascinated me. What happened to Brady Quinn? Hey guys, new Browns fan here. I was just over at, I think it stands for Reddit NFL, you get the point. And I read a comment regarding Brady Quinn and how much of a disappointment he ended up being. Were you initially excited when the Browns drafted him? How did someone who was such an excellent college ball player turn out to be such a bust? Imagine Manziel, but instead of creating excuses for himself by doing drugs and drinking, he just wasn't good, and that was that. Class act. Watch him drop all draft day, and then taking him felt like a godsend, though. He had a mediocre arm and wasn't very accurate. He also was a check down king and wouldn't push it downfield. He seemed like a good dude, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. He gained too much muscle mass in his upper body and lost his range of motion. Watch college film to NFL film. You can see for yourself. That is one of the more interesting comments I've seen. I've seen multiple people say that. This fan responded, yeah, he looked like a bodybuilder trying to play quarterback. That was strange. I always heard he would have been fine if he dedicated the time watching film instead of lifting. Someone said he got too yoked and it ruined his accuracy. Here's the last comment we're going to read off. I wasn't ecstatic about it because I always assumed that Notre Dame prospects are highly overrated, but I was surprised that he struggled as much as he did in the league. Some guys just don't make the transition well. Whether it's the speed of the game, the complexity of the defenses, or their lack of physical ability, something that can be masked at the college level is exploited in the NFL, and they just fail. The NFL really does expose players. You can hide your flaws at the collegiate level, but NFL, no. They all come out, for better or for worse. Here's my 2 cents on it. Number 1, we got those in there. He got drafted by the freaking Cleveland Browns. Every person watching this video knows this. That is where quarterbacks' dreams go to die. They're the Grim Reaper of quarterbacks. Does that even make sense? I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. They're the Grim Reaper. They get a quarterback with potential. Yeah, his career's over. Secondly, I feel like that contract negotiation hurt him a little bit. Thirdly, when he got his opportunity, he just wasn't that good. There's no way around it. He did get a couple opportunities, 1 with the Browns and 2 with the Chiefs, and he laid an egg. It is what it is. It's reality, like it or not. But it goes back to this for me. I've said it for years on the channel, and I firmly believe it. A main reason a player is going to be, what's a better way of saying this? What determines whether or not a quarterback is going to be successful in this league is what franchise they go to. You go to a good franchising team, they're going to put you in the greatest position possible to succeed. You go to the Browns, you know what's going to happen. They're going to put you in the worst possible position to succeed. They're going to set you up for failure. The best example I can give you is the Golden State Warriors compared to the Charlotte Hornets. What's another good one? The Miami Heat. You've seen the Warriors, you've seen the Heat. They always got these random dudes just going off. Why is that? Because they are actually good at developing talent, developing players. The Charlotte Hornets are not. It's the same thing for the NFL. And then one of the biggest things out of them all is the injury bug. He got injured so many times. For me, I don't think there was just one thing that set back Brady Quinn. It wasn't even a couple of things. It was multiple things. I mean, you're talking about almost everything that could went wrong for him in the NFL. It went wrong. But the good news is he has an outstanding career right now, and he got a boatload of money in the NFL. So he's a winner. I highly doubt he has screwed up all that money he's made, so he's big chilling. He's not going to have to worry about money for the rest of his life. Many more things I could say. We'll end it off here. I'm curious. I'm going to know your thoughts down below.